This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We turn now to Burma, also known as Myanmar, where the death toll from Friday's 7.7 magnitude earthquake has now topped 3,000, including 50 children who were killed when their preschool collapsed. In neighboring Thailand, where at least 21 people have been killed, more than 70 are believed to still be trapped under the rubble. A video filmed by a teenage girl in Burma Saturday shows her ordeal as she was trapped with her sister and grandma in the wreckage of their apartment building in Mandalay, the epicenter of the quake. One of the girls can be seen banging on the rubble, crying out for help with her grandmother's face covered in blood.
Hello, somebody there? We are stuck in here. Please help us. I beg you, please pull us out.
The girls and their grandmother were later rescued, but the civil war that's raged since the 2021 military coup has complicated efforts to allow aid to reach all those affected by the quake, as rebel groups accuse the junta of conducting airstrikes even after the earthquake. Amnesty International said the military junta needs to urgently allow humanitarian groups unimpeded access to all areas of Burma. China, Russia, India, Vietnam, and Thailand all quickly sent rescue teams and emergency aid. The Trump administration's dismantling of USAID has slowed the U.S. response a day the earthquake struck. The administration said it was firing nearly all remaining USAID personnel and closing its foreign missions. On Monday, State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce confirmed that a 3-person assessment team from USAID will travel to Burma this week.
The United States will provide up to $2 million through Burma-based humanitarian assistance organizations to support earthquake-affected communities as an immediate response to the March 28th earthquake. A U.S. aid team of humanitarian experts based in the region are traveling to Burma now to identify the people's most pressing needs.
For more, we're joined by Maung Zarni, Burmese dissident, human rights activist, scholar of genocide, co-founder of Forces of Renewal for Southeast Asia, or FORSI, a grassroots network of pro-democracy scholars and human rights activists across Southeast Asia. He's from Mandalay, the epicenter of the earthquake in Burma's second largest city. Zarni, welcome back to Democracy Now! Explain the situation.
Well, it is really a triple whammy, Amy. The coup came on the heel of COVID-19. The country was reeling from the lack of serious healthcare infrastructure and massive death tolls and spread of COVID. And then the coup triggered this civil war, which came on top of a low-intensity anti-junta resistance movement that had been going on for 60 to 70 years, depending on the ethnic regions. And then on top of that, in the 4th year of the Civil War, we were hit by earthquake. And the earthquake hit the, importantly, the heartland of Burmese Buddhist majority, the dry zone, including the capital of the junta. So this is really a triple whammy.
And Zarni, how has the continuing civil war and the military checkpoints all around the country affected the ability of search and rescue operations to get to people trapped under the rubble?
Well, 3 things affect negatively search and rescue missions by even the locals. Number 1 is the infrastructural damage to freeway, highways, and local lanes that have hampered movement of, the rescue teams or goods and services to the affected areas. The Sagaing and Mandalay are 2 major cities, and then the capital, Naypyidaw. And then the second is the military junta is rightly paranoid for its survival because it's losing massive territorial control across the country. So the military junta step up, obstacles. They're putting up obstacles for, movements of people, particularly at nighttime. And then, like the continuing aerial bombardment in areas that the junta has lost control. And so, on top of the earthquake, the military junta is bombing, large villages, towns, and cities in different parts of the country. And then there are also groups like Arakan Army that is also accused of committing atrocity crimes against Rohingya in Western Myanmar, are taking advantage of the situation and attacking some of the junta outposts. And so it's a really demoralizing and very, very dark scenario we are looking at. There is no state as such. That there is not a single actor in Burma that can be considered representative of Myanmar as a state. And, the civil society has been largely very much weakened by decades of civil war and political repression, massive poverty, mismanagement, corruption. All of that have compounded the society's effort to come to rescue.
Also, you are from Mandalay, Burma's second largest city. What is the situation there, the epicenter of the earthquake?
Well, we are across the river Irrawaddy from the epicenter, which is near another dry zone city called Sagaing. And people are very afraid of tremors or aftershocks. And these aftershocks seem to be taking place, daily and nightly. So a lot of people are sleeping on the streets in tents under 100-degree Fahrenheit scorching heat. And then there are uncountable number of people buried and I presume crushed under the rubble. So the smell coming from sadly, corpses seem to be really, really strong. And Mandalay is about 2 or 3 million population. And, more than 50% of the city structures have been destroyed. And then the Sagaing, our neighbor city across the river, 90% of the Sagaing is completely crushed, and then the aid is not reaching there.
Zarni,
yeah.
I'm wondering
ahead,
about aid and international aid. You know what's going on in this country. You were a student at the University of Wisconsin. You have China, Russia, India quickly sending emergency teams. And a meager 3-person team from the U.S. hasn't even arrived here yet. On Friday, some workers at USAID's Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance received layoff emails while they were preparing to respond to the earthquake. What are you calling for when it comes to international aid from the United States, but also from all over the world?
Penny, every type of humanitarian assistance from any quarter of the world that wishes to help. The military, to my initial, excitement, has said they would receive any international assistance from any country, whether hostile to the junta or not. So I was quite excited to hear that statement from the junta head May online. But I think, aside from how the military responds to the international offer of assistance, I think we're not even talking about the USAID help or the American taxpayers' money. There is $1 billion frozen as a result of the February 2021 military coup by the Biden administration. That money, if there is any time that is, good for that money to be unfrozen, it's now. I understand that, the Biden and Trump administration did not or do not want to release that money and then, put fuel into the raging civil war. But that money should be set up internationally and handled by an international body. $1 billion for earthquake rescue and relief fund. That is something that Trump administration and the Congress should seriously consider. This is the darkest hour of need for the Myanmar people. Forget the regime, forget the resistance, forget the civil war. We need to have some kind of humanitarian ceasefire for, like, say 100 days by every actor involved in the conflict, and get the rescue and reconstruction begin.